The Prince of Wales, His Royal Highness Prince William, is known around the world as a champion of environmental causes, a devoted family man, and a doting father. But what does the future king think about his mother, the late and beautiful Princess Diana? Hi, good morning. I'm here in the heart of London. Thank you so much for joining me today. We are outside Kensington Palace, where it's still very dark and gloomy. It looks like we're in for another wet day. Love it or loathe it, though, as they say it's good for the garden. Now, as ever, when we're here at Kensington Palace, this is the area that's known as the Sunken Garden. And of course, it's very apt when you think that one of the most famous residents here was the late Princess Diana. Now, interesting fact about Diana is she used to sit in what was the very heart of this particular garden, which is now a sunken area, and have her cigarettes and perhaps a coffee. She loved the peace and tranquility of this particular spot. But it's not just her that has been associated with this area of the palace gardens, because her son, the Prince of Wales, Prince William, also has very fond memories of this particular part of the gardens. You see, he spent many hours playing here during the time that his mother was alive, and this was the place that she would bring him up to know, as the young royals do, of course, when they were out of school. They would often come up to the palace, stay with their father, the Prince of Wales, and then spend time with their mother. It was here in this particular part of the garden that they would play. There's a lovely path that goes all the way down to the lake. And apparently the two of them, William and Diana, would spend hours walking down there, throwing in the pennies to make a wish, as one can do. There have been many, many books written about the relationship between Diana and William, and more recently a television series. But one of the things that really comes across if you look at the photographs and you read the stories is how alike they were. They both had a great sense of fun. They both had a slightly mischievous streak, but they were both very caring, very full of empathy for other people. Of course, this came across in the work that they did. We saw a lot of William during the recent Platinum Jubilee celebrations. What was noticeable was the way that he paid tribute to his late mother by wearing the very same blue suit that she had worn in a very famous portrait taken in 1985. That was one of the things that really struck me about being in this particular garden. Looking at the palace in the background and thinking that I was in exactly the same spot where Diana had sat all those years ago. And yet we have her son, the future king, following in her footsteps. Not just literally, but in the way that he approaches his work and the dedication that he has to the royal cause. He's a very busy man, the Prince of Wales. He has his own 3 children to look after. He's got a full-time job, as of course, one day he will take over from his father as Prince of Wales. And then, of course, he and his wife Catherine have their own charitable interests, which they take very seriously. But he always makes time, it seems, to return to this very special part of London, to walk around these very same gardens that were so close to his heart. And one can only assume that when he's here, he thinks back to his mother, the woman who many people considered to be the people's princess, and remembers all those happy times that they spent together here in the very heart of London. Reporting from the very heart of London,